Hello and welcome to another vlog. This is another one from a bit of the sad times we're in at the moment. We're in a bit of a lockdown still. I wanted to try and do something a bit different. Never done this before. I've got no idea how this is going to work, what's going to happen or anything, to be honest. But I've arranged for a few vloggers to join me in a video chat, a bit of a video conference on air. So I don't know whether this is going to work. If this does work, you're going to be watching this probably for the next half an hour. If it doesn't work, then so be it. We had a try, but I'll mix something up and make something out of it anyway. I've got my setup, I've got my screens in front of us. I'm actually recording my video actually on my phone because I don't have a built-in video camera on the computer yet, and I've got my little microphone down here for the sound through the computer. So it's going to be a bit of a mix mash. I'm going to video this while we go. I'm going to record the screen and just going to have a bit of a chat with you guys, and fingers crossed this goes all right. If not, oh well. Hello, hello. Let's hope I can get this to work. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Well, looks like we're just waiting for the others to join in. Don't know what's going to happen to this, and interesting as it may be. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh, what's going on, mate?
Hello, long time, first chat.
Yeah, what's going on? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly, mate. Yeah, definitely.
I know
yeah,
I can. Look like I can.
Here we go. Here comes Tom. Hiya, Tom. Oh, he's looking a bit posh, nice and clean background there.
Boom.
Look at all these nice professional looking rooms, except for mine that's just a big junk straw.
Well, mine's just as bad behind me. I wouldn't worry about it.
Hello, Paul. Anyway, never spoken before, have we? And Kieran.
No.
So, how did you do? There's only one person on here that's met me, bless him.
Yeah.
He's still talking to me.
At the moment.
At the moment. I'll take it as it comes, you know me. Right, so how's this going to work? We're going to ask a couple of questions and play it out like that.
Well, before we start, can you allow us to record this?
Yes, it should be recording. I don't know whether I've got mine recording anyway, so
Yeah, mine's recording.
proper good stuff. I've got cameras everywhere in here just to make it look really pro-like. Something like that. Anyway, Kieran's probably thinking, "What the hell are these guys up to, numpties?"
Yeah, this is it's pretty alien to me doing this kind of thing.
To be honest, it's alien to us all. I expect the only person that's got any experience of this is Paul. And
No, I haven't got any experience of it. It's taken me.
That's a massive amount, either, is it?
It's taken days to sort this out from my end.
Should we do a bit of a quick introduction? I think so we can all introduce ourselves. And the way mine's set out at the moment, I've got me, Matthew, Tom, Paul, and Kieran. So if we go along that order and just introduce yourselves, and that'd be a good start. So some of the viewers, I'm sure they'd like to know who you are.
Yes, I'll start then, Paul, hey?
Go for it.
Sweet. All right, I'm Matthew. I'm from Australia, but I'm currently living in Slovenia. I've been traveling for the last 10 years of my life. Turned sort of more professional photography in the last 3 or 4 years. Basically I'm addicted to traveling, addicted to photography, and started a YouTube channel to play my photography to least explored countries. That's sort of who I am, where I'm from, and what I'm doing.
And you do quite a lot of reviews as well, don't you? You know, gear and techniques and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, getting out of that sort of stuff though, Paul.
It's not fun, is it? But it makes up the numbers, so...
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty...
As you all know, time's tough in the YouTube industry.
And your bit of a niche is your time blending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. I quite like that. It's something I want to have a bit of a try out myself. So
yeah.
You're
always welcome over to Slovenia, mate. We can.
I'll come over. I will come over. I keep promising you, I'm definitely going to come over. And it looks like your plans for coming over to Scotland have been scuttled this year now.
I got a message on my phone yesterday. You're due to fly in tomorrow. I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, you're not. No. It's not too good, is it?
I'm not unless you're sprouted wings.
Yeah, the company actually tried to force me to fly over there. They were trying to arrange flights for me. And lucky I'd be stuck in Scotland right now. So yeah, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Yeah. So yeah,
crazy.
definitely.
We're
Weather's
actually not on
too great
full
anyway.
Yeah, we're actually not on full lockdown over here in Slovenia, so I can still, hate to tell you guys this, but I can still go out. I can
No!
normal routine life. So yeah.
Unfortunately, though, mate, we all know what's coming, so get prepared.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, Slovenia went into sort of like isolation before any other country. So please don't, Paul. Please.
Anyway, over to you.
I'd hate it.
Tom, take it away. Let's hear your part.
Oh, how pressure's on after that, mate. Well, my name's Tom. I'm known as PhotoNinja on YouTube, and I'm an amateur photographer. I've got a full-time job. I've got a proper job. Unfortunately, at the moment, yeah. But landscape's just a thing that I do when I go out walking. It's turned into a real passion. So, yeah. And then obviously the YouTube. I'm really into video editing. So the three things just all come together at once, really. And I'm just sort of rolling with it. I'm very laid back, so.
You're one of the most laid back people I know. I
like to plan, and then I'm quite happy if it doesn't go to plan. I just sort of go with it. So
cool.
But I am finding the quarantining and all that quite hard.
You've only just moved as well, haven't you? So
yeah. Sorry, I'm originally from Wiltshire, but we've been living down in Cornwall for about 8 years because all my family.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So you're down near your mother now at the moment, I think. And you're down. Your mother's down in Bradford and Avon way, so you're down that way now.
I'm 20 minutes from Bradford and Avon. I'm living in Pewsey, just by Marlborough.
That's Andy. She won't let me stay, so I can always stop at yours. Don't know why.
Yeah, so there's a spare room that's really far away down there.
Is it miles and miles away? Is it? Got these big gates and fences to get through.
Barbed wire fence.
Never.
Yeah, I'm still going to work. Technically, I'm still allowed to go to work. It's mental.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem right, really. I've had lots of hassle from people when I'm on the way to work, but
it is. It's a nice bit of the countryside. Definitely down there.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right.
What do you do for work, Tom?
I'm a bricklayer.
Bricklayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, according to Boris, he wants it to still keep going, and
needless to say, there might be a wall going up at the end of his garden.
Yeah.
A big one.
Yeah. Yeah, the site I'm working on is a huge, great big manor house, and I'm on my own. So I literally don't see anyone all day.
Mad, isn't it?
Sounds riveting.
Great.
Yeah.
Right, Paulus, take it away. Give us a shot. This guy here, this Mr. Paul here. He's almost famous now.
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, you're working on it. I'll go with it.
It was a great introduction, Paul.
Yeah. So I'm Paul Thomson, landscape photographer. I'm not full time. I'm working towards it. Something I'm looking to doing in the future. Actually, still working the same as Tom at the minute. Doing delivery driving, passports and that sort of thing. So whenever I get the chance, it's out with the camera to do a bit of landscape photography. The YouTube channel things, I've only been really doing it for just over a year now. So it's just sort of carrying it on and just trying to make it better as we go, really.
It's good. It changes your life, doesn't it, this YouTube thing?
Yeah, I love it. It's really good. Gives you a good excuse to get out, to be honest. That's what I find.
Definitely, yeah. It's not that you need an excuse, but it's nice to have that reason. I like to have a reason to go out rather than just going. So yeah.
I don't do planning. I don't do any of that planning.
Anyone that knows me, I do zero. You get what you give them when I'm out, and that's it.
Yeah, I like to go out and see what happens. Really, that's the way I like to. I mean, I'll go to a location with a location in mind, but I've got no specific thing in mind when I go.
Yeah. Cool. Right, Mr. Kieran, Mr. Young and Fragile there.
Yeah, hello everyone. So my name's Kieran. I spent a couple of years as an outdoor instructor, and with that I sort of spent loads of time in the outdoors thinking, wow, this is beautiful. I wish I could capture what I'm seeing right now. So then I started taking pictures of everything. and then that slowly snowballed, watching people like Thomas Eaton and stuff.
Who? What?
And I thought, I
What?
could probably
Who?
do a YouTube channel.
Who's Thomas Eaton?
Pardon?
Who's Thomas Eaton?
Some guy who's doing loads of macro photography at the moment, I think. It looks like he's slowly going insane.
Yeah, a bit. Have you all seen his water droplet stuff he's been playing with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually looks pretty cool. I'm going up in the loft later on to get our water tank out, so I'm going to give it a try.
Oh, for God's sake.
destroy
Another macro
it.
video.
It's like
Totally
the
destroyed the
intention, the movement intention photography. Suddenly there was 50 videos that all were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Kieran, you also do your photography. I quite like as well, and you're a little bit like Matthew. You do a bit of this time blending, don't you? You quite like to mix and match a little bit.
I do. Mine was definitely inspired by Elia Lacardi.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you're getting technical. I don't know anybody. I
Oh,
only know
he's
you,
incredible. You should check out his work.
Yeah,
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
He kind
no.
of invented time blending, I believe.
Yeah,
did he?
did. Yeah, he did.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check him out. And anything we talk about while we're on this, we'll try and put some links as well in any of the comments. And I mentioned to you, but I'm recording this because I'm going to put this out on the channel. And I said to the guys as well, we're all going to do a similar thing. We'll all record it and edit it in our own way, and we're just going to put it out because there's plenty of people out there. We've all got different subscribers. We may all just enjoy this bit of a chat. And just basically sort of filling your time, I suppose, and filling our own time, because as landscape vloggers or vloggers or floggers or whatever we are, we can't go out. We're indoors, and it's quite a challenge taking photographs of wallpaper and the carpet. It's not that easy. So yeah, I'll introduce myself for all those guys on your channel. My name's Paul Compton. I've been a photographer forever, to be honest. I remember having my first camera in London when I was about 12. I wish to God I still had those pictures. Then I got the brainstorm of getting married and having kids, so that all stopped. After that, I suppose I've been into photography seriously for about 12 years, been in camera clubs and things like that. And then I took it more seriously, especially on the landscape, since I've been getting into vlogging, and I've been doing it now probably about 2 years. So landscape's pretty much my passion, for the same reason these guys. I like being in the outdoors, I like being out and like getting things done. So yeah, I just enjoy the fresh air. After being in a factory all day, every day, the fresh air and the landscape's pretty cool. So that's pretty much my story. Don't think any of us class ourselves as professional landscape photographers, but I think we all do pretty well. And it is good fun. So that's the introductions out of the way. Let's go for something a little bit serious. Let's try a few questions. I've got a couple of questions.
I'm getting sweaty now.
He's got about a dozen questions.
Yeah, I'm fully prepared.
So, he's raring to go. So let's go with you, Matthew. Give us a question, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, all right. So it's what, 9:30 over there right now, isn't it?
It's what?
Is it
9:30?
9:30
Yeah, it is.
morning?
Yeah.
All right, I hope you slept well. I've got some serious questions. First thing about vlogging.
Oh. Here we go into. What was that?
What's the hardest thing about vlogging? Tom, take it away.
For me, because I'm still have a normal job, I got a young family, our little ones too. So it's definitely the time for me, and not being able to sometimes give it 100%, or sometimes I have videos or footage that I know I could do better, and it's just purely based down to not having enough time, and it really bugs me because I am a bit of a perfectionist. So I'm always torn between like putting a video up and it not being my best. That's what I struggle with vlogging.
Yeah, but do you only put out stuff that you feel good and confident with?
Yeah, I know. There's more videos that I've binned, I would say, that you've never seen.
Yeah.
But I am being a bit more relaxed this year and showing a bit more about the realities of it, because, well, that is the reality.
I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, your style's changed. I remember when I first started watching you many moons ago, and you were abroad. I think you were in France at the time. You were taking some like old derelicts, like bunkers or something, on the beach.
Yeah,
watching back. You know, watching that back when you were sort of young, free, and running. Well, you weren't free. You still had your missus, weren't you? But you were sort of running around. Whereas now you sort of got a bit more reserve, a bit more of a you're a dad now. You seem to have changed, got a bit dadly.
Well, I've got to be responsible now, haven't I?
So yeah, no, it is. Time's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, time was the biggest thing for me. Yeah, definitely.
YouTube's a hard
What about
place.
Hmm.
Sorry, Matthew, what was that?
I said YouTube's a hard place.
Yeah.
It's very time consuming.
Very time consuming, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of pressure as well, isn't there? Like, you know, that I know we put it on ourselves, but yeah, there's always someone willing to climb over you, so you've got to keep going with it.
Yeah, it's the next
Yeah,
step,
but I
isn't
always
it?
portray it in, you know, everyone owns a TV. If you don't like something you're watching, there's always another station that you can watch. And that's what I never understand about YouTube. You know, we put, I'm not sure about you guys, but probably a basic video takes 15 to 20 hours from start to finish. And that's never, you know, me hiking a mountain. This sometimes takes, you know, 25 hours, and this can be crushed within 20 minutes of making a video because someone comments something negative. And yeah, of course, we portray ourselves on YouTube to be scrutinized and obviously positives as well. But there's always other YouTubers out there. You know, there's 5 of us here that can go and watch one of our stuff and you'd enjoy it. So
Yeah,
it's a ruthless world.
it's. I think it's the thing. It's trying to find out what it is. You're always trying to think, what do people want to watch? What can I produce that people are going to watch? And I think it's difficult that way. I think in general, most of it for me, I think it's just people like locations. They like going out and finding locations because there's, you know, like you said, there's 1,000,001 people that do tech talk and how to do this and how to do that. And we do it naturally anyway, which is what our subscribers enjoy. You know, we give them a little bit of feedback and we're teaching them as we go. But mainly it's about going out, isn't it? It's taking people out. I mean, most of my subscribers just, they're thankful for the fact that we take them out and we take them to locations and places.
Yeah.
And I haven't done nowhere near as many workshops as Matt, but the few I have done, I've noticed that a lot of people just want to be shown around, or they just want to be taken to these spots.
Yeah, totally.
I would say 50% of the workshops I've done have all been, they know how to take a picture, they know how to use their camera, they know all about composition and that, but they just want someone to take them there.
Yeah.
And, a lot of my workshops have been like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm a big believer, Tom, that someone's paying for your time, not your knowledge as well.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think I always find strange with it is they kind of know you before you've
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have never met them, but they talk to me like they know me, and I find that a little bit weird as well.
It is a very weird feeling. I remember the first time, you know, you come up and they come up straight up to your car and they're like really confident, like, hi, blah, blah, and like, whoa, you know, you don't even know what they look like, but they can spot you across a car park, you know.
It's a confidence thing as well. Like, especially for me starting out, is they obviously know who we all are. They've watched our stuff. And they've still booked us.
Yeah, no, it is. I must admit, I do enjoy them. I do enjoy them. A few, like I say, I've done a few as well, and yeah, it's quite good fun. I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I really do enjoy it. Yeah.
So has everyone here all run workshops? Have you all done that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't yet. Something we're working towards.
Yeah,
I can imagine it's quite intimidating making sure that you get everyone's expectations, you know, and fulfill everything that they expect from you and what they're paying for at the end of the day.
I've done a couple of one-to-ones, and then you can get to sort of speak to the person, find out what it is they want, you know, what guidance they want, what it is they actually want from the one-to-one. And I've also done the group one-to-one, the group workshop I did last year with Jason. And that was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. And my lesson from that is it's an awful lot of work. When you're putting on accommodation, food, locations, traveling, you know, there's so many things that can go wrong, you know, even down to the weather. You have to have an A and a B plan, or even a C plan. You know, A is great if it works. The weather could be bad, so you hit to B. B may be closed, so what do you do then? You know, so there's so many things, and time just seems to disappear. But thoroughly enjoyed that day, but it was, that weekend. But it was a massive learning curve. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to proceed, you know, and do stuff like me and you had one sorted out for the Isle of Skye, didn't we? So that would have been good fun for you. But you know, like the way things are at the moment, we've had to change those plans. But yeah, definitely come along to us on the next one once I get it worked out and get some people on it. But it's quite a challenge. It's not as easy as you think. It really is.
Is it only in the UK that you run your workshops?
Say again, Matt.
Is it only inside the UK that you run the workshops?
Yeah. I mean, I had this fantasy plan. I was supposed to be going to the Faroe Islands in about 3 weeks. Obviously, that's been cancelled now. And I suppose in the back of my head, I'm always trying to run before I can walk. This is just me. You know, I've always been full on. I never have a halfway measure. Do I, Tom? And yeah, so I suppose in the back of my head, the plan was go to the Faroe Islands, enjoy my holiday, take lots of photographs. But once I've been there and felt a bit more comfortable with going to somewhere, I could possibly work on the fact that maybe I could try and arrange taking some people. And then, you know, I move to that step because people may be more interested in that. The UK is really hard because there's so many people doing it. You know, Tom's got his area, which is quite good down south. I'm sort of a bit ambidextrous. I live in the middle of the Peak District, North Wales and the Lake District. So I'm lucky that way, you know, but there's so many people doing workshops and so many vloggers wanting to do workshops that UK's extremely saturated, you know, and to get people on it, it's all going to be down to, like Tom said, people finding, you know, wanting to go to these certain locations, or the fact that we're all a bit different. So they want to actually meet the people they've been watching and things, you know. Other than that, there's far better, you know, qualified people, per se, that do these workshops, you know, fully on, you know, full professionals that do it all day.
Yeah, Paul, I agree. Like if you were to spin this around, because I've thought the same thing, you know, I'm living in Slovenia. It's quite a saturated place for workshops in autumn. But I'm a big believer in trying to justify, you know, you are Paul Compton. There's something about you that people want to book. And, you know, how can you make this tour unique that no one else can run this?
Yeah.
This is my avenue forward. You know, how can I offer to my clients, not just me, something very unique when they come to Slovenia, let's say. Yeah. So it's all about finding that little niche inside. You know, we all run YouTube channels. We all run like niche YouTube channels. So it's hard work finding out your niche and, you know, what your clients want.
Yeah. I mean, the experience I've had with that is the fact that when people have come on any one-to-ones or even the group one, they were interested in my style because I'm not going to use the word laid back because Tom's the laid back one, but I'm so just down to earth, so common, so rough and ready about it, you know, and then like, yeah, come on, just get on with it, get your camera, let's go and take it. And that's quite relaxing for a lot of people. I don't make it sound, it's not hard. I mean, I've had arguments with people before that landscape photography really isn't hard. Getting the right light and maybe, you know, tidying up your composition, that's the difficult bit. But, you know, getting out there with a camera and just taking pictures, you know. So yeah, I think the people that have come on mine is the fact that they feel relaxed because I'm quite an open, you know, chatty person.
An open book.
You know.
Yeah.
Come on, let's have another question. Should we try something different? There's something different.
So I've got it. Since everyone's from the UK, I've got a really interesting question I've wanted to ask for quite a long time. What is it about the UK that has so many photographers in this realm of YouTube? And also, does anyone have the interest to travel outside of the UK? To me, I'm not trying to like brag here and like this, but I've been to over 100 countries.
I'll travel anywhere.
I find for me, once you travel, you expand your knowledge about photography. You're in elements that you can't control. So I want to hear from everyone, what is it about the UK that you stay in? I understand we all have 2 or 4 weeks holiday, but does anyone have any plans to escape?
I'll tell you what, I'll quickly run for a quick one. I'll let the guys have a chat. I was obviously going to the Faroe Islands, and my biggest problem has been money. Now, I've spent an obscene amount of money on, you know, lots and lots of kit that I don't really use it all. I was in a lucky situation. I sold my house, so I had this big chunk of money that I felt like spending rather than saving till I'm old and can't enjoy it. So I bought kit and stuff like that. And that's because I can actually have something in my hands to actually spend a stupid amount of money, hold something in my hand. This is mine. I can see it. I can look at it. I can lick it up and down. You know, that's mine. But when you go on
coronavirus, Paul, don't do that.
When you go on holiday, it's just a memory. And I've always been like, oh, spending £4,000 or £5,000 on a holiday is just like, it's been done, it's once, it's done, it's gone. And I struggle with that. You know, I mean, the Faroe Islands for me, that was a lot of money going to be spent, but that was a trip of a lifetime for me, somewhere I've always dreamt of going apart from Iceland. And so that's probably my thing. I find it hard to spend the money on going and the fact it's quite expensive anyway. And
Yeah.
And I suppose the final bit to the answer of that is the UK is so diverse. We've got so much in the UK that
Is it though?
you can go for hours and days and weeks and still find stuff that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I've lived in the UK almost 3 years. I think it's an incredible place. There's also some bloody incredible places around the world.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Paul, one quick last question on that. Do you print your work?
Do I print? Well,
Yeah.
behind me, I have got a massive Gert printer down there. And I used to print loads and loads of stuff for camera club competitions. So I've got rocks and rocks and rocks of prints. But actual landscape stuff, no, I don't do a lot of.
Well, I recommend to print it out. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can lick it, and you've got your memory. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I want to do, but I need it profiling. That's pretty much the reason I don't.
Kieran, what about you?
Why I stay in the UK? It's mainly expense.
Yeah,
Just
of course.
incredibly expensive to take your camera gear and go to these beautiful locations. So yeah, I struggle with that pretty much.
Yeah.
But like Paul said,
You've
with
just been
the
to
UK,
France,
it is
haven't you?
incredibly diverse.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, the northern part of Scotland to the, Cornwall, Devon area. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've spent loads of time in Scotland, and it's quite easily like a moth to the flame to go to the famous locations and capture them shots. But I don't know, you probably won't see my channel, it's very small. But what I tend to do is I go to them locations, I get them shots, but then I spend at least 3 or 4 months working there. So within that 3 or 4 months, I really get to explore, find little tributaries, little rivers, little waterfalls that, I don't know, the locals know about, but the wide world.
He's a bit tapped. He goes walking off into the middle of nowhere.
It's a good idea.
It's good stuff, though.
He's been practicing for solitude.
Yeah. I love just being in the middle of nowhere. That might have been 50 years since somebody walked there.
Yeah, I think it's a very common trait for solitary and landscape photography. I think they work hand in hand.
They do. And it's much easier to talk to a camera and get all excited and everything like that when you're on your own.
Yeah, of course. Paul, what about you?
I love the UK. Absolutely love it. Last year was probably the first time I've actually gone on a photography trip, a specific photography trip, and that's when I went to Canada.
Amazing.
To spend a bit of time with Adam.
The heroes.
I went with Adam Gibbs and went to Vancouver Island.
Top stuff.
And I wanted to see it was old growth forest and places like that really interested me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. Just a completely different experience. And it's somewhere that, I would really love to go back to. There's lots of that sort of place I would really love to go back to. As much as I like the UK, I love Scotland. Absolutely love it to bits. But definitely see what you're getting at about seeing different things and having more diversity. But for me, it's cost and it's time, because I've got 2 young kids as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I can only really go away for a week at a time. And to be honest, when I went for a week to Canada, it wasn't enough. I mean, you spend 2 days to get there and get back, so you're already down to 5 days.
Yeah. Are those trees as big as they look?
Oh, they're huge, massive.
It looks
So, Paul,
inside
inside of your photography, are you more interested in the intricate detail of landscape photography, or how would you generalize your field of landscape photography?
Both.
Okay.
I like the grand vistas.
Yeah.
But the more that I've been getting into it, I've been focusing more on the smaller details.
Yeah.
When I started, I still am. I'm right into waterfalls and water anything with water in, I love. And before I started hanging around with Adam and people like that, I wasn't remotely interested in anything like woodland photography, because it felt more intimate and it felt more difficult, and I couldn't get my head around it at all.
Woodland's definitely a hard thing. You've had a bit of Tom, haven't you? And it's difficult.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love it though. Don't get me wrong. Now that I've got into it, I absolutely love it. But for me, I like the flow of water and the feel of water. So that was what drew me to things, really.
Yeah.
But now that I've spending that bit of time in Canada, I actually it sounds ridiculous because I people say the other way around, that it's easier to photograph our woodlands here.
Is it?
Because apparently, but I found it the other way, and I don't know whether
I would have thought it's got to be easier because you seem to have better light and more atmosphere.
Well, it's not. It wasn't so much the light; it's just that in our woodlands over here, they seem a lot more cluttered and messy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And when you go to like old growth forest in Canada, everything's big, so it's all more spaced out, and the understory's more green. Yeah, there's fallen trees and there's branches, but things tend to be covered in moss.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look as messy. It doesn't look as cluttered.
Yeah. See, I'm like you. I like to do a bit of woodland photography, but I've not found any of them sort of. I always go back to Simon Baxter when we talk about woodland, because he seems to be the woodland king, you know. And if you find the right woods, I think the pictures are almost made for you. You're just waiting to stumble across them. You know, my local woodland, you can walk around that for hours and not see anything that jumps out at you. You know, it is just a big clutter. So I think you need to be lucky. Like you say, if the woodlands over there are sort of less cluttered and just bigger trees and more moss, and it's almost crying out for it, isn't it?
Yeah, I found it easier to find compositions, I must admit.
Yeah.
But then in the UK, the woodlands are there's so many footpaths, there's so many people walking through them, they're so small, and like if you head up to the Highlands of Scotland, where you know that piece of woodland again, like I said before, it might have been 50 years since somebody walked across them set of trees.
Yeah.
That the moss, the ground's covered in moss, the rocks haven't been touched. You know what I mean? Everything's just a lot wilder. Is that the same over in Vancouver?
Yeah, well, it's. I think it comes down to, it's like if I go to woodland over here, I've tried going to my local woodland, but it doesn't work in the same way. So what I tend to look for is like ancient woodland. Mm-hmm. I find ancient woodland over here is easier to photograph again, because it's older. You've got more moss. It's less cluttered, and there's more gnarly, characteristic trees, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're the ones, aren't they?
Yeah, the younger forests I find are generally the more cluttered ones over here anyway.
Yeah.
So I always try and go for that sort of ancient woodland if I can.
Yeah, I'm yet to find a decent one around me, so.
I'm lucky. I've got two right next to me.
Oh, cool. The breakfast is sounding more and more.
There's Bluebell Woods and Big Woods as well. They're all within 10 minutes.
Wicked.
It's just a bit crap that I can't walk to them from here. Otherwise, I would be tempted.
Yeah.
But,
right, I'm just watching the timer on the top of my screen. It's telling me we've got just under 5 minutes left, because we're on this special free 40 minutes. If it stops and crashes down, what I'll do is I'll just restart another chat and just introduce you all back in again.
Okay.
Because I didn't think we'd be able to chat this long. It's quite good, isn't it? I'm quite enjoying this. I've got a question then. Let's fire up a quick question. What camera system and why?
Oh.
Go for it, Matthew, because you're a Fuji man. Fuji, because it's light, compact, and I travel all the time, so light quality 50-50 is important to me.
Yeah. Tom?
Mine's down to cost really at the moment, but I use a crop sensor Nikon, a little D7200, and it is brilliant camera.
Why
Lovely
do people
camera.
use
It's not
Nikon?
Canon, I know, but yeah, it does everything that you could want to do.
Have you got a plan? You know, have you got a long-term plan to change?
Yeah, I would say within the next 3 months, I will probably have something
Any secrets?
different. Hey?
Any secrets? What we're planning on?
He's waiting for sponsorship.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah, I wouldn't have to get my wallet out there. But yeah, no, it'll be full frame. But I like the Lumix, but it's a beast. It's so heavy.
That's the thing, isn't it? Heavy. That's why I'm using the Fuji stuff now, and I'm actually putting my Canon stuff up for sale, just purely because the Canon stuff is heavy. Even though I bought heavier lenses now for the Fuji, it's still lighter in comparison. I just enjoy using the Fuji. I just think it's fun to use. You know, It doesn't feel like a big boy's camera to me, but at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter anymore. You know, so yeah. But Paul, what's your weapon of choice?
Sony.
Sony.
Yeah, I'm shooting Sony A7R II at the minute.
Nice.
And,
lots of pixels.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have the same camera as Tom as well. That's what I started off on, is the 7200. But I was in two minds at the time. I thought, right, well, I've got crop sensor lenses. If I'm going full frame, I'm going to have to change the whole system anyway.
Yeah.
So it was at that point I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to go Sony.
Yeah.
And then immediately regretted it and found out how much the bloody lenses were after it.
Yeah,
but,
kind of what I did.
Then,
I was on Sony and I went over to Canon.
Yeah, but I don't regret it now. I don't regret it now at all.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I've invested in a couple of decent lenses, I'm chuffed to bits with it. It's a fantastic camera.
Yeah, cool. Kieran, quickly, we've got just under 2 minutes before this will crash.
Yeah, so my first camera was a Nikon, and then I kind of stayed with Nikon, and I ended up upgrading to the Nikon D810. And I don't have the Nikon lenses or anything like that. I just went for Tamron, but they do really well.
Yeah, they look good. They look all right to me. The images qualities look all right to me. So
yeah.
But the Nikon D810 is an absolute beast when it comes to landscape photography.
You'll all get over it, and eventually you'll all end up on Fuji, won't they, Matt? So you know.
No comment. No comment.
We're taking over the world. Can't beat them Fuji greens.
I'll be like a parent and say, long as they're happy, Paul.
Yeah. Oh, you God. Right. Before we carry on, then, because it said we've got a minute left, I'm gonna crash this call and then I'll fire it back up again and introduce you all back in again.
Okay.
Speak to you in a minute.
Okay.
We're all in a different order now. Matthew's in.
Tried to run away, but wouldn't let me.
The other two have probably done a bunk. They probably, I'm not talking to him anymore.
Yeah. Smart ones.
I must admit, this works quite well. Quite impressed so far.
Yeah, I love this format. I think it gives a great... there's always something I'd love to do on YouTube is, I'm not sure about you guys. It's one question I was going to ask, but sometimes I've got a video coming out in about 1 week or so about the struggle I went through the end of last year, how I fell into this YouTube blinker. I was trying to do everything for YouTube. Like, how can I push the algorithm? How can I push the algorithm?
Mm.
It lost my soul to the YouTube sort of,
to the algorithm guru.
Yeah, the genre. I freaking hated it. And, this gives you a different avenue to just be yourself, I guess. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
See, it's funny.
As weird as we all are.
Funny, I've never really put that much thought into algorithms and how to promote my videos and get them to a wider scale of audience. Like, how much effort do you guys put into that?
None.
No,
that's a bit of a lie. I say none. I'm not bothered by the numbers and the algorithms. The algorithms I've never looked at. I know people talk about them, certain keywords and stuff like that. Hang on, Paul's just trying to come on. No, use this link. Get on there. Right. Yeah, I've never been bothered by that sort of thing. The numbers. Yes, we've all like to grow. Obviously, we want to know. I mean, it's more about knowing that people are watching, more than anything. You're not worried about being any number bigger than anybody else, because reality is we all started at different times. So our numbers will grow consistent to that sort of time era. And the more people that are in, doing it, the less chance we're going to grow. I mean, Thomas Heaton was doing it 4 years ago.
Boom,
he's back. Thomas Heaton was doing it 4 years ago. So he had that massive growth because he was one of the only ones, and then 2 years came along and some other people, we started sort of thing, so the growth scale is going to be slower no matter what you do. So wouldn't worry too much on numbers.
No.
But yeah, you can. I mean, like Matthew said, you can get stuck on that rut of watching the algorithms. What do you need to do? What have I got to do to make it grow? And I've learned the only thing, and the one person that really got me into this in the beginning was Chris Sale, and he said to me, "Just be yourself." And I thought, no one is going to want to watch some ex-Cockney, loudmouth going on about rubbish, But I've got a following now, and they're obviously watching. Well, it's probably Denise they're watching, not me, because I get more likes and watches when she's in the channel. But yeah, it's just being yourself and just grow with that. I've watched you from your beginning, and I love your style. I like your photography, and you've got this little thing about it I just quite like watching. It's quite entertaining. So,
Thank you.
carry on being that. And same with Matthew. I first started watching Matthew, I think it was when you were with Kim up in Scotland. And he has got, because he's a traveller and he's young-ish, he had this way about him in his camper van driving around Scotland. And I urge anyone to watch his Scotland stuff from beginning of 2018? Yeah. Watch that Scotland trip. That is epic. To take the risk of getting stuck in his van and going to sleep and waking up with 4 foot of snow around him. I was like, man, how do people do that? I mean, I'm 50 now. I mean, I'm like, damn, what happens if you get stuck? And I had a job to come home to. So people have got their own things. Tom, again, when I said earlier on that I watched him, and some of his photography, I enjoyed that, looking for the old bunkers and the colours and things, so that's sort of, people grow. I mean, I still watch vloggers now. I know a lot of people don't tend to watch other vloggers so much, but I still do. I got all my time at work, when I'm at lunchtime and break times, and that's what I do. I watch you guys. And Paul, sort of like you said, he's relatively newer on the scene. But again, he's got his own ways about him. He does things differently. So it's nice to see how people do things. And you tend to adapt a little bit your style maybe to blend in with others. So I'm not quite as erratic as I used to be, but I still want to be, if you know what I mean. So just the end of it is just be you. Don't worry about the numbers and all that. Just be you and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Before you go any further, mate, can you allow recording again, please?
Okie dokie. Where are we? Record. You should have interrupted me. Record.
What was the last thing we were talking about? Ready.
And record. Okie doke. Good.
Great, thank you.
No worries. Right, has anyone else got some questions?
What's your favourite thing to photograph and why?
Can't
What
tell you
gets
on
you,
this channel.
pumped? What gets you excited?
Not allowed to speak about that. See, you're all thinking the same as me. Right, cut that bit out. We're not having that in there.
Yeah, I'll bring her in.
No, I'm leaving that in.
Don't, because my missus is just in the other room. She'll be in here in a minute. I'll get a black eye. My favourite thing.
I did mean in landscapes.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot. I've done sports. I've done from equestrian to motorcycles to truck racing, football and rugby. I've done all that sort of stuff. I've done portraiture. I've done been to Whitby and things like you live up that area. You know what Whitby's like when they get the Gothic weekends and things. I've done lots of people and portrait. I've done pets. I've done weddings. I've done event. I've done everything. I'm not good at it all, but I've had a go at it all. Landscape definitely is my favourite because it gets you out and about. And I think if I had to sum it up to one thing, seascapes. I like the sea. I used to live on the Isle of Wight and I was surrounded by the sea all the time, every day. So I like being by the sea. Whatever I get out of the photograph doesn't matter. Just being by the sea and listening to it, that's my thing.
Are you a West Coast photographer or East Coast? Sunrise or sunset?
North Scotland, West Coast. And I prefer sunrise because it's a new day, it's nice and fresh, and if I cock it up, I can get the sunset at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I rate that.
I'm the same. I'm a sunrise, but mainly just because at weekends is my time, and I can get back. Especially now the clocks have gone forward. I can get back, and we can start our weekend day or whatever, and still do the family stuff. So, yeah, I just find sunrise is a bit slower, a bit more or less frantic.
Yeah.
Which is weird because when living in Bude, obviously it's a sunset spot, and I didn't tend to film the sunset so much just because I didn't have that pressure of getting it right. You know what I mean?
I feel like with sunrise photography, especially when you're filming it and vlogging it, the people that watch your channel you almost get like a, well done, you made it out for sunrise. It's almost like a pat on the back straight away as soon as you're like, it's early in the morning, it's dark, and I'm up. Look at this face. I'm so tired.
You dragged your ass out of bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And there's no, you won't find Instagrammers at sunrise. They'll be at sunset.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
That's true. That's why none of us wear makeup as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You look at the state of us all now. None of us look like what we do when we're on our channel.
You don't do duck lips either.
Whatever gets those views, hey Paul.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Yeah, I like sunrise. I like sunrise, and I like again West Coast of Scotland, I would say. But over this way, if it's Northumberland, I'll go across to the northeast coast because it's just from where I am in Cumbria. The Cumbrian coast's just not that great, if I'm honest. But the northeast coast over near Bamburgh and places like that's absolutely stunning. Yeah. Which is where I'm from originally, so it's just it's lovely over there. So I know it pretty well. So for even sunrises over there, it's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, because I must admit I've been over that side a few times, and it's got some pretty cool coast and the castles and that, and it's not a bad bit of the country, to be honest, over there.
Yeah,
and like I said, sunrises, you're in the right place, aren't you?
Yeah, it's superb over there for sunrise. Just our Cumbrian coast, it's too messy. It's just too messy. It's just not good at all.
We've got Blackpool.
Exactly.
Blackpool, folks, really isn't. No
comment.
Come on in, Paul. Have you got a question for us all?
Right. What first got you into YouTube?
Bang.
Why YouTube?
Go on, Matthew.
Yeah, so pretty much the same story. Growing up in Australia, we have this obviously ultimate freedom to camp, to do whatever we want, basically whenever we want. And especially I grew up in the mountains, but not anything like you guys have probably seen before. So I got into photography by the art storytelling. So that's probably why I've got into the travel and all this sort of stuff. And like photography, I wanted to portray something that I was witnessing through photography. And then I thought it wasn't enough. So I wanted to portray basically to my family, to my mum, my dad, grandmother, and my brother, that what I was doing on my travels, rather than just, having a Skype call talking about it, they're always, oh, cool, yeah, cool. And they've got something visually to watch where I was. And for me, it was definitely like same as photography, that storytelling, but to basically capture of how you felt, the emotion that you're going through when you're witnessing something that no one else has or done before at that particular time. So
yeah,
for me, it was basically just organic that way. I mean, I was a little bit different because I wanted to tell my family back home what I was doing, where I was, and I was safe and healthy, basically.
Yeah. So. Cool. And Paul?
Like I said before, I've been into photography an awful long time, and I was in camera clubs probably for about 12 years and quite serious in it. I got to the stage where I won the clubman, so I won the overall competition throughout the year. I won several competitions where you're always outscoring, to get points. And my photography took a massive down. You know, I started to not enjoy, well, I wasn't enjoying photography. Every photograph I looked at, every scene I was in, whether it was a person, a motorbike, a horse, an ice skater, whatever it was I was looking at trying to get something the judge is going to like. And so my photography wasn't for me anymore. You know, I was doing it purely to gain the points, because that's really the only outward direction for me photography. I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram and Flickr, as we all do. You know, you put pictures on there, but they were just pictures going onto the internet. You know, there was nothing really about them. So it was all about the camera clubs, you know. And again, we enter competitions and it's nice to get things, but basically I just didn't enjoy photography. And I've been watching Thomas Eaton, like I say, he's been going a long time, and then started meeting other people, and like I say, Matthew and things I've been watching, and Tom's been going a while. So, you know, I've been watching people doing something thinking, God, that's cool. I wonder if I could do that. But knowing that I sound the way I do, and you know what I sound like, because I don't, but I've always come across as thinking, God, no one's going to want to listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not technically minded. I don't really play on the magic triangle. You know, it's all whatever it is when it is. And really, like I also mentioned, I got talking to Chris Sale, and he basically said, well, if you fancy doing it, why don't you just give it a go? I'm like, seriously? You know, he said, yeah, just give it a go. So 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I was out with a friend. I put Kelly Hall Tarn in the Lake District, and I told him, I said to him, I said, look, I said, I'm thinking about vlogging. He said, well, why didn't you have a go? So I literally picked up my phone with my gloves on and spoke to my camera. Spoke to the phone, and that's all I did. I explained a few compositions, took a few photographs, put it on YouTube. I showed Chris Sale, and Chris said, is that the first time you've done this? He said, is that your first take? I said, yeah, straight off the camera, straight onto the internet. He went, wow. He said, if you can do it, just have a go with it. He said, that's brilliant. Just go with the flow. So I've just carried on being me, talking the way I talk. Don't try and script or pretend to be anything I'm not. And I thoroughly enjoy it. It's given me a new lease of life to photography. I've met people and friends. I'm making friends as I go along. I've got a couple of enemies as well, but hey ho, you know, mix and match.
Don't we all, mate? Don't we all?
It's an even balance, you know. You've got to keep the world balanced.
Yeah, there's already always somebody ready to piss on your cornflakes.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But no, it's given me a complete new lease of life to photography, and I'm 100%, you know, YouTube, and I love it all. Even if I don't see, slight difference with me is I'll put stuff out even if it's not great. You know, I'm not worried that if it's true. I just want to be honest and true. Whatever you see and whatever you get from me, whether you like it or not, is normally honest. And I do upset people along the way. But yeah, it just comes out basically. And same with my pictures. If it's a rough vlog and there's nothing magic at the end, you still get to see it because it's real. You know, there's no good. If you're polishing it all the time, that's when I remember watching back thinking, God, I can't do that. You know, I can't do that because look at those photographs. So, and that was kind of the reason I wanted to start, because I wanted to show people it's not always that perfect sunset. It's not always that perfect light catching that tree. You don't always get that mist and the afterglow. You know, I wanted to show honesty and truth. And that's basically why I did it and what I did.
Yeah,
Hello, wife.
Right, Tom?
Mine's a lot stripped back than that, really. My photography and my YouTube's the same thing. It's the same time span, really. And I just wanted somewhere where I could feel like a part of something, and hope that people would help me grow. And the YouTube was just buzzing at the time, and I loved doing the video editing. So it just all come together at the same time, and I've just rolled with it. Like I said earlier, it's just both things have grown together. Obviously, my photography the passion's always been there, but not at the capacity it is now. That's why I started YouTube. It was just
it's pretty cool watching how people grow. I must admit, you know.
Yeah, it was like a support network for me. It was all new.
Yeah.
And what we've all grown together has definitely nursed me. My photography. Yeah. Just
going to introduce the wife. I'm sure you've all spoke to her before or seen her on channel. Mrs. C, Denise.
How you doing?
We've got Kieran.
Right.
The young lady who helped us with the
I can
workshop.
see all the names of the
Matthew, you know Matthew, you've seen me watching him. Paul's
This is the main part of your channel, isn't she, Paul?
Hey?
Tom.
Everybody looks.
So she's the main part of his channel.
He is, yeah, this is the key. If you want to grow, guys, get a lady in your channel. I'm going to use a secret card as well. I'm going to do, I don't know if this video will go out before, but I'm going to get to Denise to do some post-processing. So, yeah, that's going to be my key ace card, that is.
We'll see.
Only because I don't know what I'm doing.
Same question to Kieran.
Yeah, basically watched a lot of vloggers. I didn't have an education in photography. I learnt from YouTube. So once I kind of started to get my head around how to use a camera, how to compose a shot, how to edit, I thought it'd be quite fun to sort of try and give some back. And whether, like I don't know, like Paul said, I'm not the most technically minded when it comes down to stuff, and I'm not gonna know the difference between different crop sensors and stuff like that. But if I can inspire somebody through my love and enjoyment of being in the middle of nowhere with my camera and my rucksack, climbing up a mountain with no footpath, yeah, pretty much. So I thought I'd bring people along for the ride.
Yeah, cool. And it's quite good because, like I said before, the way you do things, and you know, when you're up in Scotland and you're walking up the side of a waterfall, and then you saw a little bit more and you wanted to go a bit further, I'm like, man, this guy's got some kahunas. You know, it's good. It's good to see, and it's nice. I'm glad you're showing us, because most people like me and that, we would never go on those sort of paths and those sort of tracks. So it's quite good to see that sort of stuff. And your photography is pretty good. Like you say, you're not worried about all the numbers and the technical side of it, but you know exactly what you're doing with your camera and you're confident with it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's quite fun putting the videos together. Like if I watch sometimes I'll watch some of my really early stuff, and
3 weeks ago,
just to see where it's come. It's quite interesting. Like, do you all look back on your early videos and sort of, you know?
No, stay well away from them.
It's cringeworthy, Kieran. It's cringeworthy.
Yeah. Some people
Really? I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. Like, I don't know, if you watch Thomas Heaton's first video, compared to the production value that he puts into his videos now, it's just incredible.
I'm still sure he's got a complete film crew.
Yeah,
he's got to have.
To capture that one image, he puts so much work in.
Yeah.
I struggle enough watching my last video, let alone the first one.
So do we, but we don't like to say.
All right.
The thing is, though, as well, just to kind of put it in perspective a little bit, the likes of Thomas Heaton, who knows pretty much anything and everything, a lot of people watch him, but I think he'll put a lot of people off because he's so technical, because he knows there's complete beginners that feel a little bit threatened, or that their photography will never match up to that kind of standard. So there has to be a complete broad spectrum of blogging styles and the way you explain things, and it's not all about numbers. A lot of the time it's about just getting out, taking a photograph, and let's face it, you can jiggery pokery in Photoshop and Lightroom anyway, so you've got to have that broad spectrum of styles and
Kieran likes a bit of jiggery pokery.
Oh, Photoshop! The power of Photoshop is just incredible.
That's something. I mean, I've been doing photography for many more years than you, but when I watched your one where you took a photograph of the moon, and then you put your zoom, or you did the scenery, didn't you? And then you put your zoom lens on and you took a picture of the moon, so you got the moon a little bit bigger, and then you put that back in the image. Now, I've done composite images for the camera clubs, but I'd never thought about doing that, and when I've got the opportunity that ever arises, I'm going to do that. So I've learned something from you. Like you say, you've only been doing it a couple of years, but I've been doing photography for forever. And that's something I picked up just by watching you. So, I like the idea of trying that. And the same with Matthew and yourself, with the time blending. Now, I've done time blending, as you call it, of the new technical word for it. But I've not done it quite the way you two do it. I like the idea, like with Matthew's, when he'll sit there and leave the camera set up for like 5 hours, and he'll get that scenery at the end of the day where the light's just nice, and then he'll wait a few more hours for the lights to switch on in the houses and just blend that in. And you've done the same yourself, haven't you? And And I like the idea of trying that. So again, I'm learning, you know, I've seen things and inspired by these different sort of ideas that I wouldn't normally generally think about.
That's that again, though. That's just the power of the editing software. That
Oh yeah,
it's just incredible. Like, has anyone ever heard of TK Actions?
I've
Yeah.
heard of it, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, you should look into that, because like using luminosity masks and creating them in Photoshop, it's not necessarily all that easy, and you need to be more technically minded. And
Yeah, see, I'm quite
I
lazy.
yeah. Like before, it was simply just blending them together. It was just put a layer up, block the bottom out. There you are, skies on the top, and then you end up with like a little bit that's sort of fringing over, or a little bit of ghosting, and it just, I don't know, it doesn't look as good. But like when you start using luminosity masks, and you know, you can pick that one tone and then blend that in, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I think, Kieran, also with what you were saying as well, it's quite interesting how you were self-taught. And I think this brings a new leaf to the life where you've got this element where things aren't right or wrong anymore. Everything's sort of right to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes a really good thing, and sometimes, you know, you make 5 or 10 mistakes, but you learn from them, which is, you know, amazing.
Well, how did you get into it? Like, were you educated at university, college, or?
Nah, all self-taught, mate. All self-taught. So I bought my first first birthday about 12 years of age. I got a like the old 12 megapixel crappy camera, and yeah, mine's a little bit different than you guys, like, because you guys revisit the locations not all the time, but quite often. That's why I wanted to know about the UK situation, because for me, most of my photography comes through the storytelling way. So, you know, I haven't always got the, you know, I might camp somewhere in the middle of Kyrgyzstan for one night, and this is all I can capture. So I have to light the tent up, I have to light the Milky Way up, and almost work with what I've got, sort of thing. So, but also to get back onto your point, you were saying the power of Photoshop, like, don't dishearten yourself, because you have to know exactly how to do this in camera to have the information to take back. So
yeah,
give yourself where credit's due, mate. You know, hard work.
Yeah, totally. It's no good. It's no good having Photoshop and all the technical stuff if you don't have the raw files to do it with. So
no.
Yeah, I live by the saying, you can't make a shit cake taste good. So
depends if you like chili.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't
What
polish
you
a
eat,
turd,
Paul,
you've just got
but-
to throw glitter at it.
Yeah, I knew the tone would come down eventually. We've been going over half an hour now, so it had to come down eventually, didn't it? And it wasn't even me. Right, Tom, have you got a question for anybody?
Oh, if you could name one person that you aspire to, who would that be? It doesn't have to be photography, just your whole ethics to what you imply into photography. So it could be a photographer, it could be anyone. Who do you aspire to?
That's a difficult one for me, because I'm not a very educated person. So I've got books on my bookshelf. I know, or I've watched lots of different YouTubers and stuff over the years. To be inspired by a photographer or a person. I mean, I used to, let's go back to when I was not long after school. I got into weightlifting and stuff like that. And back in the days then, I was inspired by Arnold Schwarzenegger, because I wanted to have a bit of muscle, a bit of shape, a bit of definition. I was an overweight kid, and I'm still an overweight, older man. But that was my inspiration then. I'd like to give you an answer photography-wise. I suppose Thomas Heat and we're going to keep bringing up his name, I think, because he was one of the first on YouTube. He was one of the first I could actually watch daily, So I was probably inspired by him, not so much for the photography, just for the fact of what he was doing and how he was doing it. And then in general, and like I've just said, I've just been inspired by Kieran with the way he's done that photography. So I'm inspired by generally everybody. I can't really pinpoint a particular person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, nothing floats my boat in one direction. I'm such a mix, my head's in so many different places. So I'm going to have to sort of bow out on that and say,
you never know
I can't
that.
pick a person.
You'd never be able to pick that up.
Say again?
You'd never know that your head was in all these different places.
Really? Yeah, you do say the nicest of things.
What you, Matt?
Yeah, good question. Mine's going to be a bit hard to answer because one of them's Australian, which you'll never know. He plays AFL footy, so a real man's sport, not this Premier League. Yeah, but also another one right now is a YouTuber, but he doesn't do anything to do with photography or anything like this. He's just a typical, let's call it typical vlogger. He's called Brody Moss. It's called Youngbloods. And so the end of last year, when I was going through the YouTube grind, as I was talking about before this started recording, I was sort of losing who I personally was. And I think inside of the YouTube photography realm, there's my sort of niche is not a lot of Australians that do this type of stuff, and especially in Europe. So I lost this way, and this guy, Brody Moss, become sort of a well-known blogger in Australia because he was just himself. And that's sort of what I'm trying to, watch, inspire. He's very similar to me as far as, I'm not a very well-educated speaker. I haven't got the biggest vocabulary, and I really put pressure on myself in the YouTube because I thought this is what people wanted. And, I was embarrassed to say a few things. And, we've all been there where you get halfway through a sentence and you're blank and you're like, what was that word? And you have no idea what you wanted to say.
What? All the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like the easiest word at the beginning or something. No, I'm not very educated. I'm not afraid to say that or anything like that. But yeah, I've got inspiration through this way, more about the self, like the personal self of me, not so much, I'm quite intimidated to be put on camera and put my life in camera and everything like that. So this for me is still becoming, after 2 years of doing YouTube, one of the biggest fears of me trying to...
You script a little bit though.
I did go through a stage, I'll be honest with you, because I put so much pressure on myself. So I have, not to get too much into it, but I have a few personal mental issues that I've developed, since I was a young kid. And
just interrupting on a second, that's quite a funny thing because when you listen to a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that, they've all had, different sort of issues. I mean, I put out live when I first started that I had, I had depression. And I'm still on half a tablet a day now just to secure that balance in the brainwaves or whatever. A lot of people have got a lot of issues. So that's it's quite interesting to hear you say that. Yeah,
and then I find YouTube one of the hardest places as far as any social media where people comment. YouTube's opened up this world where everyone's now president, everyone's a prime minister, and they can say whatever they want, and it's deemed 100% correct. And this really affected me, and I've stopped doing things like reading comments before bedtime because I wouldn't think of all this. So, yeah, for me, my inspiration's coming down to trying to find Matthew again. So it's probably not what you wanted to hear, but yeah, it's
cool.
No,
unique and
honest.
No,
yeah, I think it's a little bit harder for me. I don't want to sound like feel sorry for me, but I haven't got any friends or family here that have known me for the whole entire life. So I have.
Yeah, as a traveller, that's quite a big thing. And I mean, I'm similar to the fact that I go to work and I've got a few workmates. And by watching my channel, I go out with Owen now. I don't really have a big friend following because I might not be a traveller, but I'm an ex-Londoner, so I was lived in London for 13 years. I lost all them when I moved to the Isle of Wight because I didn't really have any proper friends, and I lived there for a sort of 13 years, and I moved up to Cheshire. And again, you move around schools, you lose those base friends and stuff. So I've never really had any of that. So I kind of understand what you're saying. My friend niche, people I talk to like yourselves online, the chats we have on Facebook and things. And like Owen, I've taken Owen under my wing. He's such a nice guy. I'm happy to share any of my trips and days out with him. He's brilliant, So I'm limited on the friend side as well.
Yeah, it's almost like that shoulder to cry on sort of thing when you need help, and everyone needs help, of course.
Facebook, I normally pile it on Facebook and then get someone like Tom saying, "What are you doing, man?"
It's interesting though. It's interesting to hear you talk all different things about that because I was a forces kid. So again, we moved around everywhere. Yeah. So I never got to stay anywhere long enough to make friends, make permanent friends because we must have moved 6 or 7 times when I was a school kid. So I was never at a school long enough.
And I was the same. My
Yeah.
dad was a prison officer, so we would move from county to county around London. I don't think I was ever in one house for more than a year ever. It was quite a strange feeling.
Yeah, this is it.
And I find it quite funny as well because, landscape photography, as Kieran was saying before, he's happiest, Kieran, when he's in the mountains surrounded by no one or anything. Especially when you get into YouTube, the best way to do things is collaborate. And as want to, almost going against the will.
A lot of people like to go out on their own. It's very rare. I mean, if you watch the channel, it's very rare I'm ever on my own. I enjoy those couple of times I have been, but I've either got the wife with me or I'm out with doing group meetups and stuff. I've always got people around because as much as I like the space, I'm on my own all day at work every day. So when it comes to being out and enjoying my photography, I like doing it around other people and the banter. I'm a much more cheery person when I'm winding someone up.
Well, I actually find it. I find it I find it easier. Somebody was asking me this question the other day. Do you not like the solitude? And again, I work on my own all day. So when you come to going out on vlogs, I actually find it easier to bounce off somebody.
Yeah, totally.
To get a video across more. I find it easier to bounce off somebody, and I feel more natural when I'm bouncing off somebody else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're always on your own, aren't you?
Yeah, I like going out with a plan that normally doesn't work, but and I run.
See, that'll teach you for planning.
Yeah, well, there you go. You see, don't bother.
And I just roll with it. But then if I'm on my own, then I can do it exactly how I want. I don't feel pressured and I'm holding someone up, or but then I haven't really experienced, other than when I did stuff with Chris, I haven't vlogged with anyone. So it's not something I can really comment on, but I normally go out on my own, but that's just the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my choice. It's just
it's grabbing the moment as well for you, maybe as well, isn't it? When the only time you get the chance to get away from Litland and
that's it. Yeah, I'm just making the best out of what's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I agree with Matthew with the whole moving around thing. So I'm a seasonaire. So I spend 5 months here, 6 months there, maybe 8 months at the top in one location. So I'm always moving from location to location. And the kind of work I do...
It doesn't help that the police are watching you though, does it? That's the problem.
No, exactly. That's why I'm always in the middle of nowhere. Just come back to civilization for internet connection. But yeah, like... It's to find a group of people that enjoy getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning to go out and, stand there freezing cold on the side of a mountain. It's an unusual group of people that you're going to find. So
yeah,
I think what you do, Paul, I think it's really good how you've built a page and you've got a community. You've built a full-on community. And I don't know about everyone else. Like, have you guys built communities to have that group of people?
Well, we're in the process. We're in the process. Tom and I have got a group set up YouTube for YouTubers on Facebook, and that's doing a similar sort of thing.
That was a pretty amazing group, to be honest.
It's doing really well, and the fact that it was the idea of it is just to bring all of us together, so that we've got somewhere we can all ask each other questions, we can all promote our own work, each other's work, however.
Yeah,
and
it's good because there's a lot of channels, there's a lot of groups on Facebook that don't like you publicising your videos and things like that.
That was the idea.
It can get saturated in that. I mean, I've got the channel when I started our landscape photography adventures group off. It was to try and just get people together that were interested in going out and meeting up and things, And if you want to go out, put it on there and people can come and join you. That was the kind of the idea. Because as we've all just said, people want to get out and it's about meeting up with people. And I allow videos and stuff to go on as long as people are. I've had to sort of have a bit of conversation with someone the other day that all he was doing is putting his video on. I'm like, hang on a minute, if you're not going to interact with other people's, then it's not the chat that, the group's not there just to dump a video on, i.e. yours is. Go and put the video on. That's what it's all about. And it's having that fine balance. So the channel you started is a really good idea. I think it's proper growing as well. But
Yeah, well, the idea of it, well, that was the idea of it, because people do get hacked off with you just dropping
Yeah,
links,
totally.
and you know why. I mean,
I know why. I've hacked off plenty of people.
Well, the good thing is about that group is you can drop a link, but people still interact, and there's still that sort of connection because
Yeah.
they do comment on it, and so it's still working as a community.
Yeah.
What is that, Paul? Do you want to shout it out?
It's YouTube photography. It's called. YouTube photography, and it's on Facebook. I'll put a link.
Yeah.
I'll drop a link to you.
Yeah,
You
we'll
can
add
put
all
it
the
in your
links below and
descriptions.
that. So.
And we're growing. It's up to nearly 500 members, and it's got like a broad base of people throughout the whole thing. It's not just landscape photography; it's photography YouTubers in general. So it's got
it's potentially for YouTubers, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's what it's for. But I mean, it's kind of a mix. So the idea is that it's YouTubers, but it's also the public, so that the public can find new channels to watch as well as us YouTubers having somewhere to.
Since you've had that channel started, when it started growing, over the first few weeks of it starting, there was vloggers that I've seen crop up on there that I've never heard of and never probably would have ever heard of. You know, so it is a good way of finding some new, fresh people to have a bit of a jaunt with and having a look at their channel. So I must admit, it is good. I'll say I've seen several people on there. I've never even seen their faces before. So it is pretty good.
Yeah. That was the intention. It's it's somewhere we can all sort of grow and learn from each other on.
Good work, Paul. Well done.
Cheers, man.
We have got just over a minute left, so I don't know whether you want to carry on with another version, or are you tired?
I'm
not tired. I'm just thinking I've got 2 lots of 40 minutes to filter through when I make the video.
Yeah, sounds good.
Tom, how are you going to crop me out of the corner on all these videos anyway?
Hey?
How are you going to crop me out of all this conversation?
Hours
of editing, mate.
It's all right. We just put a little black box up in that top left corner.
I don't mind. I can take it. I've got broad shoulders.
A big public advisory blur across the top.
I don't know. No, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good, I must admit. So definitely a plan to do something like this again, I reckon.
Yeah.
Guys, I wanted to say, if you ever want to come over to Slovenia, you're more than welcome. I've got a place for you to stay and everything.
I'm coming. I've told you many times. I'm on my way.
Paul, I'm trying to block you from Slovenia, mate.
I've changed my passport now. I should be all right.
Man, this is gonna be one hell of a long YouTube video.
It is, isn't it? See, I was thinking about editing it and sort of mixing and matching it, but I'm just going to chuck the lot out. I'm not going to edit it. They're going to get the full stream.
An hour and a half of.
Well, the timer went to a minute and then suddenly it just went off. I'm like, hey, how's that work?
Yeah.
So, I think we also do a sort of thanks and goodbyes, if nothing else, and whatever we do when we say goodbye. Bye. See ya. Bye. Yeah, no, it's been good. I've enjoyed doing this. It's been quite cool.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it works.
Who we lost? Matthew. Where you gone, Matthew? Oh, that's clever. How you done that?
Yeah.
Oh, you show off.
Oh, hang on a minute.
How have you done that as well? Oh, now they're the chick Kieran. You got any idea what they're doing?
I have no idea. Technology, it's not my thing.
I'll block them out. Don't worry about it.
Does mine look backwards?
No, it's right. Yeah, it's good.
Backwards on mine then?
I don't
We've
know.
lost Matthew. Where's he gone? Matthew's
good.
back. Look at these show-offs, Matt. They're putting bloody names up. So what I'll do is I'll block over the top of theirs so he can't see it, and I'll put ours up instead. Kieran's a husband anyway.
Yeah, I try not to show off that second name, but I feel like it makes it memorable. Like,
it is memorable, yeah. There's not many husbands around, is there?
No, unfortunately not.
Matthew's having trouble. You all right there, Matt? He's frozen. Someone shut his internet down over there.
Yeah.
Have you all been having internet problems, by the way?
No, not at all.
No. We seem to be having a little bit of problem around where we are. I don't know whether it's a saturation, everyone's soaking up, but I live in
No,
a
I know
dip,
each
so
other's.
Matthew's struggling. Let's see if he can get on. We're struggling. People who ever see me type now make mistakes. Spelling's not my forte.
Mine neither. Here's an interesting one. How many other people are dyslexic?
Don't know, like a lot, because I definitely am.
Yeah.
Hey!
I'm just messing around.
It's tinkering. Are we back, Matt?
Yeah, a bit slow in the Balkans, mate. Internet's 20 minutes behind.
He's there. You're there. You're on. You're with us.
Sweet.
It's
Yeah,
warm now. I was just saying, these two are
prehistoric times over here in Slovenia.
showing off with their little baton things. Look, I'm just going to block them out for you. Got a big Matthew Storer straight across the screen.
Little bit of self-promotion, mate. Never hurt anyone.
Got a couple of little arrows pointing up with "Don't follow these guys."
Tom, where did PhotoNinja come from? I want to know. 'Cause we were in contact very early on, weren't we?
I'm big into my motorbikes. And
Is that where it's from? I thought you were actually into karate.
Oh yeah, now that's the ninja thing. I'll get to that in a minute. No, I've always had Kawasaki's in that, and one day I just thought PhotoNinja because they're Kawasaki Ninja, and that's literally it. That's literally the long and short of it. Yeah.
You sold yours, haven't you? The Duke.
Yeah, I did Catty last. Yeah, I sold that. Yeah, just
I sold mine, didn't I? I sold mine last year, which is paying for me van, which is another story because it's 70 miles away and I can't even go and get it.
Oh no!
God,
I haven't even seen it, guys. It's finished, and I haven't even seen it. I'm so excited to go and get it as well, and I can't.
Too much money, too many possessions, Paul.
Oh no!
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, it was a sad day when I see mate pushing my bike in the back of his van. Yeah.
Yeah, but yours was broken. It had that funny rattle from the clutch, didn't it?
That's how it was. That's straight out of the factory, Paul.
Yeah, well, you should have took it back. It sounded awful.
Everyone's broken.
Anyway, guys, look, I'll end this chat there because it's been going for over an hour now, and I'm sure you've got loads of things you want to be getting on and doing, like the gardening and hoovering and wallpapering and all the things like that.
Chasing kids around the house.
Yeah, and I've got a water tank to get out of the loft to completely destroy the kitchen with. So, yeah, I'm going to try a bit of macro photography in the garden as well. Definitely. That's the only reason I bought this thing, just so I can get nice and close.
I think Matt's disappeared again.
He's gone for a frozen. He's a frozen.
Oh no!
We'll stand like that. I'll drop him a message anyway on Facebook and say we're bailing out. Just give him a chance to see if he can just come back in. Give him a thumbs up, jog his memory. I think someone's soaking up all his internet for him. He can't get in. But yeah, no, this has been really good. I hope the general public have been sort of enjoying watching this bit of a banter. And it's nice to see a little bit different side of each other as well. And no, it's a really good idea. I'm glad it works. So it's been a bit of a test as well, and it's so yeah, all good.
Works really well.
But what you need to do is set up a good one. Get bloody Adam, or not Adam. Don't worry about Adam. Get Gavin on. I really want to yarn with that guy, man. He's got to be my favourite YouTuber at the moment. He's so funny. I've got questions about Amanda as well. So,
Stalker.
Is she real, or is she like a wind-up toy that he sort of winds up and gets her going in the morning? But no, yeah, it's been good. So yeah, we'll do it again, definitely.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right, take care, stay safe, and don't forget
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.
See you later.
Yeah,
Ta-da. See you later, Kieran.
Bye bye.
Cheers, Kieran.
So, we've been on the computer now for good hour or so. We've had a good conversation. Hopefully you sat all the way through this. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to them, and it's been a bit of a laugh. And considering we're all stuck at home, I can't think of any better way to chat to other people and have a bit of a laugh. The app I've been using is called Zoom. It works really good. It's basically you get 40 minutes for free, and yeah, you can redo it time and time again. So get on there. If you want to talk to me, if you're a subscriber or even another vlogger and you want to chat, I'd love to chat to other vloggers, and I'd love to chat to some of my subscribers. So give us a shout on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere like that, or even contact us on my photography page, Paul Compton, PDphotography.co.uk. Go on the contact page and give us a shout there, and we'll set up a conversation. And yeah, till next time, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Till next time. Ciao.